Hello. Wow. You got snuck up on us. We didn't see you come toward us, but we see you now. Hello, everybody.
Good evening, everyone.
We are the Pages Speak. Amen.
And we have a dynamite show tonight.
Woo.
Tonight we're going to be speaking about the weaponization of music. So, for those of you, as you turn on my hair all in face, I can't figure out what's
If you
going
turn us on, go ahead and share. We are on YouTube, the Pages Speak. You put the Pages Speak in Google, wherever you want to put the Pages Speak, will come up right at you, just like y'all just came right at us. In our face.
Yes.
So we here tonight to talk about the weaponization of music.
So we're going to ask as you come on to please share.
Share. Tonight.
Share.
Tonight.
Share.
Tonight.
Tag someone who's in the music business. Tag someone that is really into music.
Tag some of these children. Tag some of these children is out here.
That's right. Out my face.
Yeah, you got some hair going across. Ooh, come on now. You got that bang gang.
I got that bang.
You got that bang gang. That bang gang.
I got that bang gang. Okay. I don't know what's going on.
It's a bang. You got that bang gang.
Is that it?
Kind of. It's hidden now. We have a hair malfunction.
Okay. It's good.
Online. Y'all pray for her hair to get into alignment with the Lord's will.
There you go.
Get in there, hair. Get
just keep falling and don't stay. Anyway.
You fall in hair spirit. You keep in alignment with the will of God.
In the name of Jesus.
Okay. In the name of Jesus.
Okay, so call your kids, call your friends, all those people that you know that are really, really into music. This is a show we really, really need everyone to watch. So without any further ado and any more fights with the hair, we want to bring on our guest. Tonight we have two wonderful people, two dynamic people, two people who know about this music game, two people who have been affected by the music game one way or another. So tonight we have Pastor Dwayne Bradford and Minister Celeste Robinson.
Bada bing, bada bing.
All right.
Thank you for having me on. Here we go.
What's going on? I see you got it. You got that little string together.
No, it's still crazy.
It's that swoop bang.
The swoop bang.
That 90s swoop bang.
Crazy. Okay, so listen. So we're talking about the weaponization of music. So this is what I know.
Oh,
okay.
Back in the 80s, when I was coming up, like when I was in high school, I'm not aging myself. Anyway, it was like positive hip hop. Yeah. You know, we were being reminded that we were from kings and queens, and that we were, descended from royalty. And then it was songs like, self-destruction. You're headed for self-destruction, encouraging people, stop killing one another, stop the fighting, stop all this gang banging and this stuff, because you're destroying yourself, and you have to understand that you're royalty, you're more than what society has told you. Mm-hmm. And then all of that came to a screeching halt, like in the mid-'80s, and then it was nothing but gangster rap. And to me, it seemed like it was a correlation between the war on drugs and then the gangster and the glorification of drugs, drug dealers, and the drug gangs within the music. And it's like, so you want to do a war on drugs, but then you are glorifying the selling of drugs and the dealing of drugs. It's like you're trying to get people into the drug gang so that you'll have legitimization in regards to declaring your war upon the Black and brown people. So that's when I first came to understand, like, there's something to this here. I'm not really feeling it. There's something to it. What happened to the positive messages? And then, those who had positive messages couldn't get produced, couldn't get airtime. They sort of went on the silence, and then, they were really, really pushed to the back burner. They couldn't get their music out. So to me, that was a plan. To me, that was a design to do something negative, to the community. What about you, sir?
Um, absolutely. It was in the Reagan era where he launched the plan
Mm.
against black and brown by using music to influence people into what I would say a life of crime or the dumbing down of music. So what happened with that was just almost self-explanatory. So recall what music did at that particular time from the positive into like the beginning of it was NWA around that time where they were really pumping uh, NWA, Ice Cube, all of that out west, that particular thing. So it's a lot more to it. I'm quite sure our guests are gonna chime in and just bring us in.
Yeah, so
Boom.
let us
Let's go, bro.
Let's go.
What do you know about the
What y'all know?
weaponization
Tell
of
'em
music?
what you know.
Gotta go from negative to positive. That's a lyric.
Yeah, it is.
You know, um, as a whole, they don't want people to wake up.
Yeah.
So what was happening, the easiest way to get a message to have you saying it without saying it is to put a melody to it. So the people that were poets rhymed, figured out, wait a minute, if we put the message into the music, we can get everybody, they'll say it, and then we can explain it to them later. I don't reference slavery a lot, but if you think about how we communicated through song to get a message
Yeah.
to get to where we needed to be, it was a positive thing. So that is connected, fact, hey, that is connected to the roots of slavery if you were a black person in America that had roots in slavery, because not everyone does. But if we talk about, I'll come from this side of it. Weaponization, anything could be a weapon. It's energy, right? So any energy can put towards something to be a weapon. Light is energy, sound is energy, frequency. You change the frequency of something. It's all about the intent. If we go from architects who make sure they measure buildings so that people don't get sick because everything is vibrating. If we jingles, hey, we gotta get a certain, we want to invoke a certain emotion. You know how you go to a store and it's not the song you want, but you don't realize, and you talk and you chit chat and you shop and all this, and go, I feel we gotta turn this off, I feel sad, but you've been sitting in it for 2 minutes. But your subconscious was in it, it's already affected you, but your conscious kicked in, and that's when your conscious said, nope, I do not want this. There's a reason why certain music is played at certain times. Hey, you go to a sport game, if they were playing classical, you go, I can't get in the mood with this. We got to play something else.
Get you riled up, get you going.
Right. DJs who are good, they know how to keep the people on the dance floor. Soon as the music changes and the crowd's not feeling it, you got to switch it up. If he's good, if you don't switch it up, new DJ. Right? So we go from that, everything is vibrating around us, everything affects us.
Vibrations.
You are vibrating, the plants are vibrating. Now we have to put this in the correct context. Seems like everyone knows this but us. The crystal people know it.
Oh, you just said something.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
The other, hey sister, we got to get the vibration of the food and da. The Hotep people know it. And the Christians are scared of it. If anybody, go ahead.
Well, I hate to say this, but it's been weaponized in the church.
Yeah, that's what I'm
about
to
say.
That
too.
Okay. All right, I know.
And I wouldn't even say Christians is scared of it, because just think of it. The ones that have to have the dun dun for when it's time, the hoop, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That ain't for no accident. That's not an accident, because it's just like, that study that they did in 2011 with the music. They got a group of people together, and they let them listen to their favorite. They told them to pick their favorite song, and they did a study on them all getting goosebumps to when they was listening to their music. And then they did a study on the brain and the waves of the brain. And they found out that music certain type of music affects the dopamine, if I'm saying that right.
Dopamine,
Yeah. And it interacts with the part of the brain, with the oldest part of the brain, the striatum, right? And that controls how you feel. Now, if music was weaponized based on I think somebody somewhere, right? This is what I think. Somebody was like that decided to make put the lyrics of violence into the music for like it was in 87, 88 with NWA. I think somebody really in the music industry is like, yeah, this is what we need right here. Since they already pumping drugs into the inner cities, they already doing that. Let's give them a reason to be angrier. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And music is one of those things that enters into you without you being aware of it. You can't stop it. You can't control it. It's not going not go into your ears because you don't want it to. It travels whether you like it or not, unless you got your ears plugged. Yeah. So you weaponize that by giving somebody something that they can feel. Like, what was that song? Who was that made that song? Giving you something you can feel.
It's probably a remake of something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That was a remake.
Right.
So I wanted to even talk about just real quickly just how this has been so weaponized. So you have music now, like you were saying, that it induces anger. It induces like a rage kind of response, and then you have the media that's pumping this angry black male, angry black woman, angry black people, this dialogue. And then you have the other side talking about, I was scared, so I shot them, but they just had Skittles. And then everything, it was self-defense against what? Because they're angry, but because he's listening to some music and he got a hoodie and he got an angry look on his face. So now I'm scared. So now I'm justified to stand my ground against this angry person. And then the music is steady, constantly pumping even more anger. And then, so now we're raging and they're like, they're animals. They're less than human. And it takes you all the way back to the justification of the inhumane treatment that was prior.
Can we take it back further?
Go ahead.
So we can just get a little foundation, because people, I think remind people we're right on time. Why wouldn't music be the weapon? Who's the angriest of them all right now? Why wouldn't it be? You were the guy, you were the man, and all of a sudden you decided to get jealous, whatever. You get kicked out of heaven. What you gonna use? Music is the medicine. Why wouldn't you use it? Why wouldn't it be media, right? We got fake food. We got fake music. I mean, we don't have way people put together chordal structures, makes, different. You hit the 4 chord in church. It's like, why can't we stop service right now? Because the piano player keeps landing on the 4. You're not supposed to stop. Right? And then they land on the 5. And if I leave you landed on the 5, you're going to walk around the rest of the day unsettled. When I go to the 4, 2, 5, 1. Okay. We got to get to the 1 chord by the end of service. So it's concluded, so you can go about your day. If I leave you on 4, you're going to just keep going. If I leave you on 5, you're going to feel some kind of way. Why? Those are just frequencies on the piano. That's all they are.
Come on now. Frequency is the key.
Frequency, vibrations, going through the air, Prince of the power of the air. So many things that are going on, right. And we are, I guess, fully aware. Okay, I just want to say this real quick. My son, he just turned 20. He just turned 20. But we were having a youth night, on New Year's Eve. And, he just got really, really real with us. And he's like, I keep having these thoughts, these angry thoughts, these violent thoughts. I don't even want to have them. They just come up. And I just have all kinds of really crazy scenarios going on through my mind. And we're like, well, where do you think it's coming from? And we're like, the music you listen to. He's like, I know it's the music, but I can't stop. And this particular, I know the message isn't good, but it's all that I crave.
It's safe to say it's a drug.
Dopamine hit. He needs that dopamine hit. Yeah,
because it's like drugs stimulate you. You know what I'm saying? Drugs stimulate you.
Yeah.
The ones that have to have it for that reason, because they were stimulated. They love that feeling. And when that feeling is gone, I got to do what I got to do to get it again.
Yeah. Think about sugar.
Same.
One thing of sugar, okay, and now it's like, well, I just had a piece of. I don't need another, and now I can't stop. So some people say, you know what? I'm not even gonna have the one piece of cake because I know it will be one piece of cake now, and then I'm on that sugar rush. So that dopamine hit. In order for that, music-wise, you play it in, you play it out. You're gonna have to detox a little bit of cold turkey and a little bit of playing in more positive music. Now, what is positive music? Because people say good songs, bad songs, but this don't have this kind of lyrics. That you might say, oh, just play all the gospel. Well, you know, your body knows. It's kind of one of those things. How about you detox from all the music, all media? You go back to that song, you will say, oh my gosh, right? Why do you turn it off when your parents come in the room if it was okay?
Come on now.
Why do you know? It's like all of a sudden you do, you know, doing your thing, and it's like, oh, my kids are home. Okay, gotta turn that off because I don't want them listening to it. So then why, you're a child too? Why are you listening to it?
Yeah. And I'm gonna say this because my mama knew something, right? Every time she found a cassette tape, because we changed. Like my brothers, my cousin Clifford, we changed when NWA came out. Like we really changed. We changed. I'm talking about from the shovel your snow, rake your leaves, go to the store for you. We changed. But my mama, you know, she every time she found a cassette tape of any kind of rap, she didn't even have to hear it. If it was a rapper, she said, "Come here." She had this little way of saying, "Come here." When she wanted you for discipline, she said, "Come here, come here, come here." She grabbed the tape and slam it on the ground, pick it up, run all the stuff out of it. And she said, "I don't never want to hear this in my house." And what we used to do is we used to wait till she go to sleep and we turn on the jukebox network and be lost. Be lost on the jukebox network. But NWA, like that, that was for a purpose. Like Jerry Heller, the ones that was with that wasn't just only this can sell. They were, people don't realize it, but the prince and the power of the air, the enemy, the devil, that real being, he influences people. Now, if he can get you to want the money, it intertwines with the will of the soul being changed based upon what they hear. They hear it, it's something new, it's catchy, it's a nice tune. Now it grabs you. Now you want more of it. Now NWA ain't good enough no more. Now I need something more, you know. So and it wraps your mind around this concept of ain't nothing wrong with it, but at the same time, it's changing you. So you got a lot of older people, they refuse to get rid of some old, you know, it's some Prince albums, you know.
I was getting ready
I
should not have been listening to.
It's some I'm Earth, Wind, Fire, all of them. I love fantasy. You know what I'm saying? But it's some songs that if you're not listening carefully to, they're saying things, but at the same time, the tunes are doing something to you, and it's feeding something in your brain that you're not really operating until a certain thing pop up, and then you get that feeling. You know what I'm saying? Something come over you.
Yeah. Here's an example. I was listening. My aunt put on a CD in the car. And I hear the first two bars and I'm looking over like, she is really not about to play this Nas song. Like, y'all are some saved Christian folk. Like, what is about to happen? Well, it was one of friend or whatever took the beats but was rapping Christian lyrics. I heard none of the lyrics. I heard none of the new lyrics. Why? Because in the Rolodex in my head, I already had all the Nas lyrics. So it was just overriding all of it. So you cannot reuse the music because the intent of that, the emotions already embedded in there. So even if you just listen to the instrumental, and I've never really like heard the lyrics or paid how many people pay attention to lyrics. There's a study that actually women pay attention to the lyrics more than the men. So when I went to record label groups when I was in school, they would take that survey, and I'll be one of the only females here. They say, "Oh, you listen to the lyrics, didn't you?" I said, "Yeah." She was like, "That's a study. We study in that." But you can take all the instrumentals right now and already got the mood of the song. Think about 808 bass. Why was 808 just all of a sudden so popular? We couldn't get enough of it. That very low frequency that we can still hear, right? The masses can still hear, even if you're old, and even if you can't, it's going to vibrate your whole self, right? So bass will go, bass goes through the wall. So you're like, oh, that 808 bass. You just play that and nothing else and watch. Boom. You feel this? I'm feeling this. What are we even feeling? We don't know.
You don't know.
You don't even know.
Hey, have you ever been listening to something and it gave you chills? It didn't even have to be like a gospel song or anything, but have you ever was listening to just a regular song, something on the radio or something that you heard and you know the lyrics and you know the tunes? As soon as it get to the vamp or the the break or the whatever part of the song, it just some chills just go over you, like it like shake you a little bit. Think about why that happens. Something transpired when you got the chills off of listening to certain music. That's why when we worshiping, when we listening to worship songs, that the chill, I don't even feel that chill when I'm worshiping. You understand what I'm saying? Because all of that is going to God, right? But when I'm listening to something that could have an effect that is telling me to do something while I'm listening to it, it gives you this little feeling. And then you it's a decision that happens in your mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna go with this, or is it just a catchy tune? Like they put music in everything.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's what I was saying. It's like I have to be conscious because I don't listen to the radio at all. I don't listen to the radio in the car, and they'll tell you I drive in silence. I drive in silence, and God, been doing that for years. So I don't normally know the regular stuff. And then when I listen or I hear stuff, I'm like, what is that? And even, just the normalization of self defamation is what that's the only word I can think about it. But the normalization where women call themselves female dogs. The normalization of being a side chick. The normalization of, I'm just saying, all of this has been normalized in the music, and then you see the increase or the effects of it, and increase of it in society. Whereas, well, what's wrong with it? Because the song said there's nothing wrong with it. And even when, you also hear like a repeat, like you were talking about with the different sounds and the beats and you like the 808s, there's like a repeat of different tunes that they just use over and over and over again because they know the effect of that particular tune. And then they'll just put other lyrics on top of it that are just really, really, really right. Even if the initial song had something that was not necessarily bad, like from Stevie Wonder, because I still think Stevie Wonder's still a pretty good guy. So, but and positive lyrics. But then you hear them sampling all these songs and the message that is coming across. And then it's the normalization of self-defamation, the normalization of I'm a B, or I'm a side chick, or, I just need to, run up into as many women as I can. And, I don't have to deal with no women. I'm just going to have this, I'm just going to hit it and quit it, whatever. Ain't nothing wrong with a little bump and grind. Ain't nothing wrong with this. Ain't nothing wrong with, hitting some drugs, and I'm saying, and the thing is, this is mostly geared towards Black and brown people, because on the flip side, it's like Jesus take the wheel, and it's like other kinds of messages that are not quite nearly. They're not
totally opposite of our community.
Yeah, it's not self-defamation. It's not tearing you down or tearing down your character, tearing down your work, tearing down your value. That's not the messages that are coming across. In other music that's not necessarily geared towards, the Black and brown people.
Yeah, perpetuating negativity in Black culture. Repetition creates habits. The whole point is to remove your discernment, and knowing that certain things aren't in place to then guide you. It is a free for all. So, Big Mama's gone. That's done. We still, a lot of people, even there's still a big part of the community is eating, food that's not great. Then we don't demand better things in our grocery stores. Then we have absentee fathers to say, "Hey, we're not doing this. I may not be a great father in other things, but I at least don't want you to do that." Well, you're not around, so we're not listening to you. Now, younger and younger, they're listening to, some of the moms, maybe they don't, better, you do better, but they're in the car with the toddler listening to this and they think it's cute that they're doing the lyrics. If you ever read those lyrics, it's kind of like, how can you get pornography in society to be a norm? You ever read the lyrics? Some of the videos, my goodness, you'd have to pay for them back in the day. Now we have it in our pocket. Boom.
It's funny. They took Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and made it a twerk song, and now you got the
whistle. Hey, look, I wasn't always saying.
Whistle while you twerk, and then now you got the little kids.
I'm about to detox after this.
They just trying to twerk.
And every time they hear Snow White, they think of that.
It took Snow White. It was an innocent, whole new hookup, a whole new thing that when we were coming up, it was just totally innocent. Oh my God, we're watching Disney shows, and now even they get in on the game.
At least your generation was more lyrically, I can't say crafty because there's a talent, but there was more poetry to it. I can't just say it, so I got to think of another way to say it. And if the Temptations are saying it this way, we can't copy the lyrics. The Commodore's gonna have to say it this way. So let's at least try. And if I ever said that to a chick, her daddy gonna be mad. I can't just come. She gonna be mad because she got standards. Now there are no standards.
This what people need to
say. But that all came around the same time. Again, in the 80s. Like I said, we had positive lyrics with hip hop. We had a lot of, like I said, they were saying some things, but like you said, it was much more covert. It wasn't just overt in your face. And then you said, like with Prince, Madonna, and that's in the 80s. That same time when they then declared a war on drugs, a war on basically our community. Really started incarcerating massively. After they declared the war, they pushed the agenda in the music on certain communities. Then they diminished the value of women in the music. It's all of this, and it's all to me, it's a concerted effort. And when you see this as a concerted effort, and I really want to talk, and like those of you who are watching, please share this with those who have children, with those who are, who are just like really, really, into music, play their radio all the time, having the cool kid parties, the kid parties with the twerking Minnie Mouse. These parents that are out here, they're doing this. Share this video because again, this is the weaponization, and a weaponization is something that's been adapted to use as a weapon of war. And you have to understand, just as you would act if there was somebody holding a gun to your child's head, you need to think about it the same way. You want to disarm that person. Either that or you want to take that person out. You have to think of this music as the same way. This is somebody holding a gun to my child's head, but it's coming through their ear gates and they're hearing it. And it's the one thing that you can't keep it out. It's like, something, when you hear music, how can you stop it? It's going to enter into your brain. You'll find yourself singing songs, humming songs after being in the area of it just a couple of minutes, and you find yourself singing it. Yeah. Is it bad if people are speaking from their personal experience in their music, even though that they speak about maybe morally wrong? Listen, everybody has personal experiences. Yeah. And a lot of the personal experience that they're talking about have been exemplified, but their personal experience is not necessarily your personal experience, and neither is it something that you may necessarily want to imitate.
Right.
And
And
then you
then
have to understand that those personal experiences may be being glorified, but there are other personal experiences that are positive that you don't even hear about. So the thing is, you're not hearing about people creating generational wealth in music. You're not hearing about people leaving monies in real estate and building businesses in music. You're not hearing about people inventing things in music. So I don't want to hear about, oh, it's my personal experience. Okay, but what are you also doing behind the scenes with the monies that you're making, but you're not turning that into songs?
yeah.
So
Or how about this? Or how about
miss
this?
me with it. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be bold, but it's just my life. Get me
Yeah.
out of here. Half of them people never even live that life. They're not even real about it. You have
More than
half
half.
of the people
More
that
than
talk
half.
All
about
of them.
the gangster life and they were totally middle class, going to decent schools where their parents were teachers and factory workers. Miss me with it.
Yeah, and if they were, the record companies take out insurance policy on them. That's why they get killed so fast. The record company actually makes more money than they would have on their albums and their microwave. But to further address that, if someone was writing a book of triumph, yeah, that is their story. That would be, chapter 1, 2, 3. But chapter 4 through 12 would then be what not to do, how to triumph over that, and then their next books, because they're not living that life
Come
anymore,
on now.
would be that different life, but they would still address that. So they say, this is where I'm coming from. You don't make, I was going to reference too
5,
short to
3,
rap
4.
22,000 hours off the same stuff because you're still doing it, right? But at a certain point, why are you 60 years old trying to do the same thing? We have to evolve. No one does a trilogy album for the last 10 years in longevity and talking about, I'm still doing this, but we live in the Hollywood Hills and we're doing that. That is false. How about the chains that people are wearing? Yeah. Back in the day, maybe you couldn't afford it, but it was still kind of like, hey, I want to wear a chain to emulate kings and queens. That's your business. Great. But now they say you're dumb we didn't spend $200K on that. And if I did, that's because it's all a scam, anyway. But then it's got you going out because you want to look like them. But the rich people ain't doing that. Hey, look, the richest people walk around in flip flops and a Hanes t-shirt. When I tell you the richest people that I've met, when they pull out that Chase metal card because it don't
That
swipe in
metal
the
black one.
machines. No, it's silver. That it went over the black card. The black card was what we were striving for. They have wealth because they walk a little different. New money walk different than old money. Old money, keep that old 1920 Mercedes because it's nostalgic. Meanwhile, we 20 cars. Come on now. Why? If you think about it, if you reference, not to get off topic, but shout out to the athletes that, they make a lot of money. More power to you. I'm an athlete myself. Great. But the reason why they can give us all that money because they know we're not going to do nothing with it.
You don't do nothing but put it right back. But
exactly, because we're so busy being consumers for doing all this.
Yeah. It's a they desensitized us. That's what happened. They desensitized us. They said it so many times. Adolf Hitler once said, talking about brainwashing people, he said, all you got to do is repeat the same thing over and over. He said, no matter if it's true or not, if you keep repeating it over and over and over and over without change, people will catch on to it and they will believe it.
Yeah,
and that's what this music industry does. It's been weaponized. They have the format, they have the formula. All we got to do is say this every time you get on the rap. Do you know that there are board office meetings with the artists and they tell them you can't play this song, it's not going to be on your album. We need you to throw some more of these words in there. We need you to throw some more of these words. They really do this in the music industry. Like, this is to make it a little more edgy. It's too calm. Make it a little more edgy. Why would you want it to be edgy? Because we are desperately trying to change the youth. If we can get the youth, if we can change the youth, their future won't impact our future, our children's future.
Yeah.
These rappers their kids don't even go to public schools. Like, none of them. Like, they all is in private paid schools. Like,
and as the Black community, we don't buy the most hip hop.
And then they don't let their children listen to their music.
Yeah.
But we let our children listen to their music. And they don't let their own children listen to it. That says a lot.
Yeah. And you got to put people to sleep in order to quickly move them around. I got to make you a zombie. So you're still functioning, you're still walking. But if I need to get you this way or that way, because if you're totally conscious, you're not going to do this. Why? Because intrinsically you'll say, you won't even know why you're stopping, but something to say, now you got questions and questions. What happens is, as soon as you repeat over and over, you say, no. Then all of a sudden because it's repeated over and over, that moment you say, well, is it? boom, you better back away because they got you.
We got to end, but it's just really quick.
We're going to do another one.
We got to do another one. But I remember when I woke up to the subliminal programming of a poverty mindset into our communities. Because, I mean, we all used to watch the show Good Times. We all could sing the song. And it's like just looking out of the window, watching the asphalt grow, thinking how it all works every time, keeping your head above water, making a wave when you can, temporary layoff, good times. Easy credit ripoff, good times. Scratching and surviving, good times. Hanging in a chow line, good times. Ain't we lucky we got them?
And you know what else about that? You know what else about that show?
And we all could sing it.
Yeah.
We didn't pay attention to the lyrics.
Do you know what else about that?
Programming us that poverty and living beneath our inheritance as kings and queens.
Do you want to know
middle class?
One last thing about Good Times. Every time James got close to doing something that was going to take them out the projects, it got snatched from him.
Yeah.
Every single time. Now, why do you think that was important? Why is that important? Because they're desensitizing you. Don't look for to be successful because you're always going to get pulled. It's always going to be something that drives you and pushes you back into poverty. And that's what they want our minds to be at.
But even that every single episode, they have a couple of episodes like that. But Dwayne, how many of us sang the song?
Oh yeah, we love the
middle
song.
class. So far from it.
We sang the
we
song
love it
repeatedly, and I can go anywhere and start singing it, and all the people know the lyrics and can sing along. And again, it's programmed.
Ain't nothing good about hanging in no child line. What's good about?
But that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. But it's been happening for a long time, and when you know better, we got to do better. We have to do a part 2 because we're all over our time. Yeah. But I want to say thank you to our guests. We got to come back. We got to hit this again. Okay, we're on every Thursday at 9 p.m. But I want to say an awesome thank you to our guests, Celeste Robinson, Dwayne Bradford. We're going to do a part 2 soon because
part 2, part 3.
Good. Just to let it go. We got to hit this again.
Absolutely.
Now, next week, we have another dynamic show. Next week, we are going to talk about should Christians participate in politics?
Ooh.
So our next week's show, we have a guest, the wonderful Pastor Sean Holland. He's going to be our guest next week on that show, Should Believers Participate in Politics? You don't want to miss it. The Pages Speak every Thursday, 9 p.m. I'm Stephanie Page, and this is
Joe Nathan Lee Page.
We are the Pages Speak. We love you, and bye-bye.
Joe Nathan Lee.
Thank you.